Once upon a time, way back in the day, in a land far, far away, gotta give a shout out to the big man upstairs for the vibes. We're talking about this epic tale called A Wild Ride. So picture this, Baghdad, Iraq, the spot with those towering towers and mind-blowing palaces long after old Sinbad the Sailor kicked the bucket. The city's buzzing with traders, craftsmen, and thrill-seekers chasing wild stories and adventures. Folks are passing around Sinbad's legends like hot gossip in the markets and coffee spots. Poets and storytellers spinning yarns about how he dodged disasters, sailed stormy seas, roamed the world east to west, north to south, tangled with kings, wrestled beasts, outsmarted tempests, and stumbled on freaky islands. Dude became the greatest sailor ever. Sinbad's old crib turned into a pilgrimage site for kids and young bucks. They'd huddle by his fancy carved wooden door with his personal seal, run their hands over the weathered walls, stare up at his shut window, and whisper in awe. This is where Sinbad lived and died after 7 killer voyages. And his ship? The Sultan had it parked in Baghdad's big harbor like a wooden monument, telling tales of glory. No one dared touch it. That proud hull, the folded white sails, the planks soaked in salt and stories. In a hood right by that harbor, there grew up this kid named Ammar, an orphan scraping by, twisting ropes for a living. Every morning, he'd plop down in front of his tiny shop, his skinny fingers wrapping and pulling threads tight, cranking out sturdy ropes to sell to sailors coming and going. But Ammar wasn't just some rope guy. He was head over heels for the sea and wandering. Even though he never left his broke block, he'd always eyeball Sinbad's ship, dreaming of hoisting those sails and sailing into the unknown. Whenever he sold a rope to a sailor, he'd grill him. How were the waves, man? Spot any weird islands? Run into crazy critters or cursed treasures? The sailors would grin and spin tales of storms that nearly swallowed them, untouched islands, markets selling stuff you wouldn't believe. Ammar soaked it up like a sponge, filling his heart with wanderlust, muttering to himself, "Someday I'm gonna be the new Sinbad." And on warm nights, he'd climb onto his mud brick roof, gaze at the twinkling stars, and mumble soft, "I'm gonna sail every ocean, see what no one's seen, live adventures no sailors told." One night, while he was chilling on that roof, he caught some weird action down at the big harbor. Mumbling, yelling, total chaos. Curiosity hit him like a wave, so he bolted down and snuck toward the noise. What he saw was nuts. Guards circling this old dude with a long white beard. But get this, the guy looked ancient but stood tall as a rock, eyes sparkling with some deep vibe and a sly grin. Ammar weaseled through the crowd till he was close enough to overhear a guard griping. "Come on, Sheikh Imran, enough with the tricks, old man. You nearly got yourself killed today." The sheik rose slow, that grin stuck on his face like glue, hand gripping this beat-up ancient book. "You guys were dead wrong all along, and you're still a bunch of dummies. You never listened, but now I've got the proof. I finally found Sinbad's manuscript, the one he hid all those years. Here it is." Tears and shock hit the guards' faces. One piped up, "How'd you snag it? We tore that ship apart a dozen times and found zip." Imran chuckled like he'd cracked the code to the universe. "'Cause you never got Sinbad's smarts. He wasn't just a sailor. He was a brainy trickster. He stashed it in a wide plank that looked like regular ship wood, but nah, it was a hollow slide-out job. Only a salty old sea dog like me would spot it. And right in its gut, boom, there she was." Ammar stood there staring at the sheik, hooked on every word. He watched the guards bicker, then decide to haul him to the palace. This was big news, needed the boss's eyes. As they marched him off, the sheik wasn't dragging like some prisoner. He held his head high, clutching that manuscript like it was worth more than gold, and hollered so the whole city heard.
People of Baghdad, I'm Imran the Sailor, Sinbad's old crewmate. I sailed on his ship, saw his last voyage and its wonders with my own eyes. I've been telling you he was gearing up for one more run, but you wouldn't buy it. Today, I bring the evidence. I found his final manuscript. The crowd's voices swelled, folks swarm in the streets, trailing him, eyes glued to that dusty book. Some whispered, others stared like zombies, wondering if the guy's nuts are spilling truth. From the pack, Imran kept going, his voice ramping up the hype. I dug it out of the ship's timbers, a spot untouched since Sinbad's time. It's in his own handwriting, describing a massive treasure on some far-off island, but it ain't your run-of-the-mill bling. It's the greatest, most priceless thing no humans ever laid eyes on. The crowd pushed closer, eyes darting between shock and itch to know more. Back in the throng, Ammar's heart pounded like a drum. He felt like he was born to witness this. The mob mobbed the sheik, hanging on his words, whispers flying. Maybe this treasure's real. Sinbad never spilled all his secrets. Guards tried shutting him up, but he kept waving the manuscript high, yapping about the book and the epic loot. Finally, the head guard barked, "Folks, head home. We're taking the sheik to the sultan. We'll sort this mess." But nah, the people were hooked, refusing to bounce, marching right up to the palace gates, waiting on pins and needles. Ammar was right there, eyes locked on the big door, dying to see what secrets spilled.
Inside the palace, the Sultan eyed Sheikh Imran and that ancient manuscript. He was a sharp guy, loved stories and thrills, so he snatched the book and flipped its pages careful-like. One peek at the script, and bam, total stun. It matched Sinbad's handwriting from the old Navy logs. He looked up at Imran, voice all cautious. "Even if this is legit, what you after?" It's cryptic, talks about the sea of darkness and horrors, star spots, water routes, weird islands. It's coded so only Sinbad himself could crack it, and he's been gone ages. And you know spring chicken? Imran didn't flinch, just grinned. "Your Majesty, I crewed with Sinbad, knew his writing and codes inside out. I can decode this. I want to sail to his last destination, the adventure that never wrapped. All I need's a brave crew to dive those seas with me, under your wing on Sinbad's ship itself." The Sultan shot back. "But Sinbad's ship is a legend, an eternal relic in Baghdad. No one's touching it." Imran grinned wider. "Sire, what's a ship if it's just floating lumber? Let it live again. Bring back Sinbad's glory on its decks. If you let me take her, folks will say you didn't let his legacy rot. You kept the myth alive. History will remember you as the Sultan who saved Sinbad's ship from dust." Silence hung heavy. Then a sly smile cracked the Sultan's lips. He dug legends, got sucked into tales and gutsy moves, and Imran's pitch? Gold. He waved a hand. "You got it, Sheikh." Imran burst out the palace pumped, waving the manuscript. "The Sultan's on board. We're sailing again on Sinbad's ship. Now I need tough guys, sailors who ain't scared of the unknown, to roll with me on this massive quest." Cheers exploded, excitement buzzing like crazy. But when push came to shove, folks bailed. Nobody wanted to ditch home, job, family for some wild goose chase with no guaranteed endgame. Weirdest part? Most of Baghdad's sailors said nah, even though they ate up Sinbad's stories. They'd grown comfy, sticking to safe trade runs, no risks, no gambles. Hitting the sea for the unknown? Not their jam anymore. Ammar scanned the hesitant faces, gutted. He figured Sinbad's ghost alone would light a fire. But all he got was a handful of dreamy young guns, green as grass, but fired up, like Ammar stepping up bold for a spot on board.
When his eyes landed on Ammar, he saw that same spark he'd had as a kid dreaming of sailing with Sinbad.
He sidled up. "You know squat about sailing or the sea, kid." Ammar looked up, cool confidence. "All I know's my itch for it." Imran busted out laughing, like those words yanked him back to youth, slapped his shoulder. "That'll do for now. You'll pick it up. Welcome aboard Sinbad's ship, son." And just like that, Ammar stood on the deck, feeling his dream go real. He touched those ancient planks like he was stroking history. Climbed up top, heart sinking with the sea. He wasn't some poor dreamer kid anymore. He was a sailor, about to launch into the wild. Imran hid his disappointment over the green crew behind a steady face and sure grin, acting thrilled with their adventure bugs so they wouldn't doubt themselves. First gig, scrub the ship, prep for launch, patch the busted bits. Days rolled by, the young'uns learning her ins and outs, feeling her soul in the timbers, handling faded sails. Imran spilled it all, every corner, knot, plank that saw Sinbad's wins. After 2 weeks of grind, Imran stood tall on deck, eyeing his new squad like family. "This ain't just wooden nails, boys. It's a chunk of Sinbad's spirit. She ain't a ride. She's the legend ship, the glory boat. Scared of the sea? Bail now. Dreaming of the thrill? Hoist the sails with me. We launch today." The kids whooped, fists up, ropes taut, and that white sail billowed for the first time in years. Off went Sinbad's ship from Baghdad's harbor, carrying young hearts to an unknown fate and uncalculated risks. At her core was little sailor Ammar, up front gazing at the endless blue, knowing he'd taken his first step to be in his era's Sinbad, hauling back that treasure to keep the name alive in the city's memory. He and his buds were high on the start, hollering boyish yells, waving like they'd already whipped the adventure before it kicked off. First days, smooth as they hoped. Calm seas, gentle breezes, Imran at the helm flipping manuscript pages, scanning stars for the route to legend land and the unknown. He shared his know-how free, cracking jokes, tales, pushing him to work with heart. Taught him to read sky maps. Stars ain't just night bling. They're signs guiding sailors like road markers for landlubbers. Showed how they link up into invisible charts, each one packing a secret for the sharp eye. But vibes shifted quick once they hit the sea of terrors. Peace don't last forever. Day 5, bam, fierce winds out of nowhere, turning the ocean into a raging brawl of waves. The ship soaked nonstop, sails flopping wild, and the greenhorn sloppy knots ripped right off. A tiny slip up at sea turns deadly fast. In the mess, Ammar shone, the only one slick with ropes. He scampered the rigging light as a cat, front to back, tying secure like a pro. Imran barked quick tips. Ammar nailed them with fast, precise moves, using his kid size, agility, and grip strength to cling mid-storm. After a brutal slog, he saved her hide, stopped masts crashing, locked sails before total shred, which would have left him drifting helpless. Storm passed, and they all got the hard lesson. Sea don't forgive dumb moves. Only smarts, experience, and grit count. Once calm hit, they pumped water, patched damage, no more slacking.
Ammar stood on deck, watching that island fade in the distance, muttering, "Stories didn't spill the full tea, didn't paint the terror, the raw side of adventures, but now I get the real deal." That night drilled it home. Being a sailor means facing what tails skip, seeing fear up close, and surviving if you can. Imran posted up front, eyeing his crew back from death's door. First real lesson, fellas. In adventure world, the sea only hands glory to those paying up, and the price might be your hide. But praise be, clouds cleared. Checking the manuscript, we grazed Death Island, slipped it by God's grace. One step closer to Treasure Isle, but long road ahead to the prize spot. Silence fell, words sinking deep. Then the ship plowed on, carrying men no longer the same. At heart, a youth grown years wiser overnight, eyes holding fear and respect for their first teacher, the sea. She sailed under clear skies and chill waves now, the ocean giving them a breather. Ammar and the crew, changed up. No more wide-eyed dreamers from launch day. They eyed the sea not just dreamy, but wary, learning its moods. Aft, Imran pored over the manuscript, cracking codes patient as a puzzle pro, smiling at many wins, frowning at deep secrets. One moonlit night, moon bouncing off the water, he rounded up the crew. Boys, this ain't just a map. It's Sinbad's handwritten log, spilling on winds, currents, the path to the Isle. But it packs a big warning. Looks like Sinbad didn't make it there. He was en route, but he wrote, "To snag the treasure, you gotta pass through the sea's gate first." Crew swapped looks. One piped, "What's the sea's gate?" Imran flipped cages. Per Sinbad, it's a tight water pass, guarded by a beast no man's seen. Eye of the water. Half fish, half octopus, with one massive eye that sees everything, under, over, and even pierces hearts and minds, spotting what you hide deep. Dead quiet. Ammar grabbed the manuscript, read aloud. "Want to cross to Treasure Isle? Steer your ship straight into the eye's gaze. Spots fear in the captain or first mate, drowns 'em. Greed for gold swallows 'em whole. But love for the sea and thrill lust clears the way for you and yours. Only a bold captain and gutsy mate approach the eye." Quiet stretched. Crew glancing nervous. This wasn't a cruise. It was a soul test. Heart check. Why they're here probe. Imran faced him, eyeing Ammar. "I'm tapping Ammar as my first mate. I see Sinbad's fire in his gut. Pure adventure love." Eyes swung to Ammar, who didn't see it coming. Heart racing, but deep down, he knew he was built for this. No backing out. Crew nodded yeah, but Ammar felt the weight slam down. Not dream anymore, reality. He was first mate to Captain Imran, sharing ship and crew load. Days later, they hit the eye spot per the coords. Air got thick, heavy with wet salt they'd never smelled. Ship shivered like she knew trouble brewed. Crew hushed, heart skipping at weird whispers from the deep, the sea sharing secrets. They bunched on deck, staring at glowing blue water like a magic mirror mixing sky and abyss. Then Imran's voice cut through, gripping the wheel, Ammar beside. "We're here. Sea's gate, boys. Don't freak." From the depths, something massive rose. First, a huge eye gleaming like a giant pearl, swirling every which way, scanning ship and souls one by one. Seen like a heavy dream, between waves and clouds, an unblinking eye judging, reading insides. Imran muttered low, "Freeze, no chatter, let the eye read our hearts." Ammar stood front, locked on that monster orb, pulse hammering, but no fear, just weird pull. The eye quizzed him silent, he shat back in his head, steady. "Dreamed my whole life to be like Sinbad, see the world, unlock sea secrets." The eye pulled back like it cracked a grin. Then the past cracked open, waters parting between rocks, waves dying, winds hushing. Sea gave the green light. Ship slipped in, water below glowing like star-paved road. Flanks, smooth rocks carved with ancient etchings, sea beasts, lost folks, like ruins of a drowned sieve from eons back. Imran eyed the walls, whispering awe. "Sinbad didn't even describe this beauty. We are crossing a spot no maps touched." Before awe peaked, boom, massive isle ahead, not like any they'd clocked. Green mountains scraping sky, golden beaches sparkling in sun, birds circling with calls they'd never heard. Imran breathed. "Treasure Isle, boys, this is it." Crew froze, unbelieving. Quest dropped 'em here, dream to real. Isle looked otherworldly, like a myth made flesh.
Ammar stared. We made it, but what's waiting? Ship dropped anchor at the beach. Silence hit like held breath. All overload. Sands gleaming gold like gems. Trees drooping with shiny fruits like jewels. Streams flashing silver like moonlight at noon. Imran checked the manuscript. We're here, the isle Sinbad wrote about, where he buried the big score. But squinting closer, path wasn't crystal. Vague hints, hidden door behind waterfall, cave guarded by deathless shadows, compass not like the rest, riddles waiting for a code cracker. Sinbad set a test for chasers.
Crew pushed through thick jungle, air thick with funky flower smells, trees whispering in tongues like gossiping about intruders. Sudden, thunderous boom like sky cracking, hearts quaking, trees bowing scared. All froze. Imran hissed, "Duck behind rocks, don't let it spot you, stay put." No hesitating, they dove for cover, pulses racing, blind fear. Moments later, huge shadow blanketed ground like instant night. Looked up, monster birds circling, wings stretching horizon wide, claws like curved swords, the rock straight out of Sinbad's tales. Imran whispered, "Rock, don't let it clock us or it'll hunt, snag you for nest chow, can lift you like a sparrow." Ammar growled low. "We didn't trek this far to feed chicks. Nah, we fight smart." To the crew, "Listen up. Each grab branches, hold 'em over your heads. If the bird peeks, it'll think we're trees." No choice. Ammar hacked boughs, hoisted 'em high, crept slow. If rock neared, freeze like a bush. Crew and Imran mimicked, moving like living forests through shadows. Time dragged, each step deeper in, eyes sky-glued, till rock lost interest. Finally, after nail-biting trek, they hit a massive waterfall crashing loud, like clapping welcome or warning. Imran eyed the spray. Gotta be the falls from the manuscript, secret doors behind. They poked round rocks and walls forever, till Ammar yelled, "Here, this rock's off, ain't like the rest." Smooth stone, not weathered like others, planted on purpose. Crew shoved together, it slid with a deep groan like unlocking secrets, revealing a narrow tunnel to a dark cave reeking old sea. Torches lit, they crept cautious, watching twisty walls and dancing shadows like guards. Each step dove deeper, till wide chamber, jaws on the floor. Floor carpeted gold sand, walls studded shells and gems flickering firelight. But the stunner? Center, giant chests stacked, sacks bursting gold and jewels, ivory and coral statues, wild weapons never seen. Crew gawked, eyes copping like stepping into a living legend. Sinbad's hall, the score he roamed and risked for, hid in this remote rock. Sailors dazzled, greed and wonder mixing, itching to dive in. But Imran threw up a hand. Epic loot, biggest I've seen. But manuscript says this ain't just gold and rocks. Sinbad chased something bigger. Imran and Ammar skipped the shine, hunting the standout, Sinbad's real secret. Scanning corners, Ammar's eyes hit a small wooden box carved with a sailor knot matching Sinbad's Baghdad door. Chill ran through him. He cracked it slow. Inside, weird compass, hands spinning wild, glowing faint like a beating heart. Imran leaned in, eyes huge. The real deal, wish compass, the one Sinbad wrote about, key to jumping worlds and seas. Ammar hesitant. You mean the myth one? Stick it on the helm and skip a portals anywhere? Enchanted Isle? Sunk City? Unborn legend? Imran nodded, eyes lit. Yup, roam all seas, pop from spot to spot. Enchanted Isle to Sunk City or fresh myth. Ammar's heart slipped. He gripped it, whispering, Lord, this ain't treasure. It's every adventure's key. couldn't haul all the swag, so they grabbed what they could, gold, gems. Imran pocketed the compass like his lifeline. Tracked back, branch camouflage like before, hit the beach and ship safe. Back aboard, Imran hit the helm, slotted the compass. It whirred, stopped pointing distant blue. Water split like a secret lane. Ship dove the mystery pass, crew bug-eyed at the show, till poof, they popped out face to face with Baghdad's harbor. Homecoming wasn't ordinary. Sinbad's ship rolled in loaded with loot and lore, news spreading wildfire. Crowds jammed the docks, cheering in shock, rubbing their eyes at the legend ship back after ages. Imran, Ammar, and crew in tow. Sultan threw a palace bash, wined and dined them, gifted the ship permanent. As thanks, crew forked over the bling. Sultan eyed the sparkle, but knew the real win wasn't gold. It was the grind and thrill that remade these men. Days passed, crew huddled, pondering next. What now? Imran stood, voice calm but final. I settled my score, lived the dream. No more sea for these bones. You boys, you the spark I gathered, free as birds. Do you? Sea is yours. Crew eyed each other, realizing each was skipper in his soul. Ammar stepped up, compass in hand, grinning. Someday I'll see what no one's touched. This ain't the end, just kick off a fresh quest. Crew grinned, getting it. The sea wasn't done. Next morning, ship prepped to dip from Baghdad again. This time, Ammar captain, compass in fist, eyes on the horizon, geared to pen his own legend, a fresh myth. If that story hit you right, don't forget to like and support the channel.